of course, Christianity is a big topic in it. Buddhism is a big topic, of course. Obviously, we think so. Christianity is a big topic. But I think probably the starting point is the obvious one. Christianity is a theistic tradition. It grew out of the Jewish monotheism, believing in one almighty creator God, ruler of the universe, determiner of humans and others' fates. And simply, we don't have that in Dharma. Dharma does not see the world having such a being within it or as its author, because Dharma sees everything arising from the interaction of causes and conditions from beginningless time. Worlds arise and disappear, of course. There's impermanence written into the fabric of everything. So worlds come, worlds go, universes come, universes go. But there is no first creator. After all, if you search for the world having a creator, because it must have a cause, so must that creator have a cause. So from the very beginning, the theistic answer for us looks in a way just like a kind of evasion of the truth. With all due respect to the saints and masters of these traditions, we fundamentally in disagreement about the nature of the world and the existence of such a creator. So there's no bridge in that gap. There's absolutely no bridge in that gap. And then for the Christian elaboration of that basic monotheism into Trinitarian theory of God the Supreme Father, then incarnating as his Son and also, of course, manifesting the Holy Spirit, that makes absolutely no sense to us because there's no creator in the first place. Whatever Jesus was, if he existed as a Jewish rabbi, then some of his teachings are quite admirable and so on. We should always, in fact, be inspired by whatever reflects good moral teachings and has a beneficent effect in the world. We kind of rejoice in it. We don't feel, that in some way it damages our interest. But simply we don't agree with the Christian take on the world. I mean, of course, what is another good point of the Christian view, as like other theists, is they believe in some type of continuity. There's not just this life, they believe in the continuum, but they don't believe in rebirth from life to life like we do. They believe in either, and so therefore while we believe in there are hells, they're temporary for us, they're not permanent. The idea of a God who could then create beings and simultaneously condemn them to everlasting punishment is utterly abhorrent and nonsensical to us. And also, as Rinpoche says in one place, the idea that when people praising God, creator of heaven and earth, is therefore the creator of misery too. What kind of God is this? He's an executioner as well as a babysitter. It's just impossible for us to accept such things. They do not accord with reason. And for Buddhism, everything must finally be understandable through reasoning. So I say all that just to make a very strong distinction. Not to criticize Christianity's moral teaching, because mostly we're on the same page with that, but for different reasons. For instance, for Buddhism, we think that every being values their own life, shrinks from death, and therefore if we behave morally, we must respect that and must preserve the lives of others from conception to death. Christians, or those who actually believe Christianity in any serious way, believe the same thing, but they believe it because God created life and we cannot take it. We don't value life because of that, but because we respond with compassion and awareness to everybody's own love for their own life. So same kind of moral policy, but from a entirely different route. So that's very important to point out where we can be, admire and respect and be in some types of sympathy with some Christian teaching, but even there, it's usually coming from a different route, a different vision of the world. And yes, so like again, sometimes one says, sometimes people come to Buddhism because they say they don't like the Christian teaching of hell. But I usually kind enough to point out, well, you're coming to the wrong place, buddy, because they only have one hell. We have 8 hot hells, 8 cold hells, 4 neighbouring hells, or 6 in some counts, and any number of occasional hells. So Don't come to us, 'cause you don't like hell. Of course, main difference being, well, hells are impermanent, they end, and they're created by your mind. You can free yourself from hell by developing kindness in place of hatred. So even there, even though we also have hells like they do and heavens like they do, they don't come to the same place and they're not permanent. So there are many such differences. But many men and women have lived great lives in Christianity, exemplary lives of kindness and concern for others, and perhaps by their spiritual devotions to a God who we think is imaginary, but they don't. They achieve certain states of saintliness, and we can respect that, and so on. So there's much to admire in Christianity. In many ways, it has left great things within Western culture, from Dante to the modern day, and even before Dante, it's left great things. So we admire and cherish all that. We don't want to throw it out. But finally, no, we're not Christians.